Sir David the Bard, trying to be serious here now. I'm coming to you from Montreal, Canada, and I've only been in Canada once or twice in my whole life. Quebec, right across from Niagara Falls there. I love Quebec and its French culture and language. I saw this, and it's hilarious, but it's also so beautiful. Okay, and many times you don't see beauty on this show. You don't see beauty on the Bard Show. This is beautiful. Now here's what's comical. Here's what's totally comical. I picked this up in the Desert News, which is the rag that the Mormon Church calls a newspaper. It's not as good as the Expositor was, but anyway. I picked it up in the Desert News. Now here's what's funny about the Mormons. They're in a bubble. They live in their own cultures, in their own communities, with their own signs, tokens, symbols, pay me, lay me. You know, they're in their own world, which is like a Disneyland fantasy world. But anyway, the Desert News thought it would be cool to show Mormons that are cool. Now, here's what's not cool. First of all, I'm old, pushing 70 here. A flash mob. I don't know what a flash mob is, but I do know this. You young people with your phones glued to your forehead and to your damn face. I never can see any people anymore. It's just the back of a cell phone. Anyway, a flash mob in my world, now this isn't the Mormon world, but in the real world, I think it's where all of these young people, usually, you don't see too many flash mobs with seniors. I don't know why, because we can't see shit, so we can't mob and flash. So anyway, you young people are used to having a flash mob, where you all get together in an area, and all of a sudden, at one time, at a certain time, everybody does something spontaneous, whatever that is. Anyway, the Mormons don't know that. They don't know what a flash mob is. The only mob, there's two examples that the Mormons know as mobs. One was called Carthage Jail. That was a mob, and it was a flash. And the Mountain Meadows flash mob. There's the Mormons. They invented flash mobbing before there were cell phones. Now here's what the Desert News is reporting, and watch it. It is beautiful. I enjoyed watching it. But I had to laugh most of the way through it because the Desert News and the Mormon people think this is a flash mob. It's a production that was planned out. It's very beautifully done. And the newspaper says that there's Mormons, hundreds of Mormons. Well, I'm not an expert on estimating crowds, but I don't think there was more than 200 people there at the end. At the end, there was about 200 people. Now, how do you have a flash mob when the first flashers are trying to mob and they all have on microphones and cameras? Is that a flash mob? I thought a flash mob was instantaneous, spontaneous. Well, read the article. It said planned. So I don't know if there was a few Mormons that were on the committee or something to plan this, but it's in a beautiful mall, beautiful singing, and beautiful people. Now, this is not a flash mob. A flash mob is usually people of the same age, not necessarily gender, but they're young people, or they're, you know, not too many middle-aged people do flash mobs either. Anyway, I had a really enjoyable time watching this, and a laughable experience. That if the Mormons want to know what a real flash mob is, it's spontaneous, it's independent, it's not controlled, it's not competitive. You don't put microphones on 30 or 40 people to get the flash mob going. Flash mob. So anyway, it just shows you how the Mormon Church and its people interpret the real world. They think this is a flash mob. It ain't. Look at it, decide for yourself. While you're doing it, have health in the navel, marrow in the bones, strength in the loins, and you, power and priesthood be upon you and upon your posterity, especially during this Christmas time, through all generations of time, and throughout all eternity. Pay me, lay me, and ail me, O God, hear the words of my mouth, and please watch a video now and then. Don't cut my throat, don't tear my heart out, and don't cut my stomach open. Just have a nice Christmas and take a look at what the Mormons call a flash mob.